Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all so much for joining us here on WLTX Plus. I'm Christy Calcagno alongside Whitney Sullivan.
And we are continuing our coverage of the snow that has hit the Midlands. That's what a lot of folks have been waking up talking about this morning. It almost looks like a winter wonderland here in the Midlands. Now, we have teams stationed throughout the Midlands today to bring you the very latest on this winter storm.
That's right. But first, we're going to go ahead and start with Walker Lawson. He is right now live in downtown Manning, where they actually saw an inch of snow. So Walker, what is going on out there? Looks like you're bundled up, ready for that winter weather.
Highway, and they are working to get those trucks up the roadways right now. But so far, Whitney and Christy, it is actually melting pretty quickly out here. The roads are hit or miss. So behind me, we have a little bit of slush. On the side of me, the road is fine. And then just a little bit further behind me, you can actually see it's completely covered in snow. So again, where the sun is hitting and where they're able to kind of plow these areas off, or where we're starting to see some improvements. But for the most part, we've seen families out here enjoying the snow, most walking. We found one business so far that's open. They're from the Northeast, so they said they're not too scared of snowy conditions and they're happy to be out here. But again, asking people to be safe, and if people are coming out, maybe your best bet is to walk. But again, just be mindful of that black ice as you're headed out throughout the day today and possibly into tonight.
All right, thank you so much, Walker. Yeah, I mean, this takes a great picture of what folks are dealing with right now. It's the slush. I think that's the best word to describe it, is all of that snow melting. I know that a lot of folks wanted that snow to stick around for a little bit longer, but here's the big thing that we're going to be paying attention to is what happens when that snow melts. If that water does not evaporate, because we're going to be dealing with some really cold below freezing temperatures again later today, that could refreeze and turn into black ice. So while things might get a little bit better throughout the day today, by the time the sun goes down and those temperatures drop, you really want to be careful and think about where you're going and if you need to go, just in case all of that snow that's melted turns into black ice.
Yeah, you just saw a live look at our traffic conditions over there on the interstates. Really what we were seeing, especially when we had this morning, that was plowed. A lot of salt there out on the roads, and they were treating that quickly and early. Gardens Ferry Road was a little bit different. You know, that was definitely a lot of slush, definitely slippery conditions even when we were coming in this morning. But we are seeing a lot of the side streets. Walker Lawson had a great example of what we were seeing on 3 different points of an intersection. We have areas that are slushy, we have areas that are still covered in snow, and we have areas that are still being treated. So make sure when you are heading out on the roads today, it doesn't matter, interstate or side streets, make sure you are taking plenty of time to get to your destination.
Absolutely, and that's one of the reasons why they're saying be careful if you do go out and stay inside if you can, because you never know what you might run into. Now, for a closer look at our forecast, we're going to hand things over now to meteorologist Daniel Bonds, who knows better than anybody what we are dealing with outside, as you have been tracking this storm for days.
Yeah, and we're still dealing with obviously that slush, and that's why the National Weather Service in Columbia has extended that weather, or at least winter weather advisory, until noon because of that slush that's across the Midlands. So that does include all Midlands counties. So be prepared for some slippery road conditions if you do have to go out, and obviously slow down and just use a lot of caution if you're going to be driving. And if you're going to be walking around, keep in mind your stairs, sidewalks, and driveways could be very icy. You could slip and fall in those areas as well. Our visible satellite image shows a pretty cool picture here. You notice this white here, that's snow. And then you kind of see the clouds that are over parts of the Atlantic here up towards eastern parts of North Carolina. But all this white here, that is snow that fell late last night and early this morning. We'd gotten a few totals from in and around the Midlands, 3 inches in Santee, almost 2.5 in Aiken, a little over 2 in North and Swansea, and about 1.5 inches in Chapin. Those snow totals continue to kind of come in this morning. Here's kind of an interesting live look. This is Myrtle Beach, and that's not sand, that is snow there covering the sand. White snow out there, so kind of cool look there. Here's a look at Litchfield Beach. This was earlier this morning with the snow on the beach, and there's Hershey once again. He was not a fan of that snow whatsoever. But over the next several days, it's going to be very cold, including tonight. So you do want to protect those pets. Most importantly, protect people, pipes, plants, and practice fire and heating safety. So make sure those people that may not be able to take care of themselves, make sure they're protected tonight because it is going to be very cold. We're also going to be watching the potential for some black ice for tomorrow morning. So tonight, tomorrow morning. And it's not really black. That's kind of a misnomer there. It's actually a very thin layer of ice, and it's basically transparent, and it will make the roads very, very slippery. You can't even see it. Hard to spot, and you can wreck pretty quickly from that black ice. Today, temperatures aren't going to warm up a whole lot. We're looking for highs right around 35 degrees. That's 22 degrees below our average at this point in January. The areas that did get a little bit more snow, their temperatures will probably be a little bit lower, especially in the southern and eastern half of the Midlands. And then for tonight, lows dropping down into the middle teens. Some of us will probably be even colder than that, and it won't warm up a whole lot tomorrow, but a touch warmer than today with highs right around 40. Mostly cloudy skies, and then temperatures will gradually start to moderate as we head into the weekend. We'll be pretty close to normal Monday and Tuesday with a chance of rain, it looks like, on Monday. So be careful if you're going to be out and about, and keep in mind that winter weather advisory does continue until 12 o'clock, guys.
All right, Daniel, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We also wanted to bring you, live look here. This is of I-26 westbound there, mile marker 154 in Orangeburg County. This area saw a couple more inches of snow. We saw a report about 2 to 3 inches of snow there in Orangeburg County.
And one of the things that we've realized in some of the more rural areas or parts of the Midlands is that while DOT has been working tirelessly to get to all of the roads, there are some areas that they just have not been able to really get to yet. And so again, that's why they are saying that everybody needs to take their time if they are traveling out on the roads as well. But again, you are taking a live look at I-26 West at mile marker 154. This looks very different than what we just saw from Walker Lawson in Clarendon County. So again, it just shows you how different just a few miles will make. But again, my friends, if you're going to be heading out, stay safe. Now, somebody who has been tracking this storm in the Berg, like we like to call it, is News 19's Victoria Samuels. Okay, so she's our Jamaica girl.
Yep.
She said, I did not sign up for this snow. How are you hanging, Victoria?
Love it. It is beautiful. Orangeburg looks, it just looks picturesque. I think it's beautiful. I'm standing here in downtown on Russell Street, and it is amazing. Everything is covered with white snow, and I love it here, and everyone here seems to be in awe of what they're seeing, and it's been a while since they last saw snow like this, so everyone's super excited. However, the road behind me, as you can see, it kind of has a little bit of ice, so emergency management is just reminding residents to please be mindful when you're driving on these roads. Last night, they had 10 call-ins for traffic collisions out there on the road. All of them were pretty much minor. There was one that wasn't minor, but the person walked away with minor injuries. And talking about the highway, and especially when Daniel talks about three inches of snow in Santee, closer to Santee in Providence, those bridges have completely frozen over. So they are asking people by that 90-mile marker on I-95 to please be mindful when they're out there on the road. Don't drive over the bridges, guys. If you can, just don't. It's not worth it. And we're just going to be out here enjoying the day, talking to some residents. So back to you guys.
Victoria, I need to see you very much. I want to see you in a snowball fight, making a snow angel.
Snowman. She's living her best life. I love to see that you are enjoying it. Thank you so much, Victoria. And she has some really good advice. Y'all, do not get out on the roads if you do not have to. Look at this example right here. Another reason why you don't want to get on the roads, and you see that people are not on the roads. We're taking a look at 26 West at mile marker 168.7. It is just covered in snow.
A lot of this too is what we've been seeing, especially again this morning throughout the entire day, is a lot of times sometimes the interstates are good, also going off. The exits are also a huge problem.
That part.
We're seeing that it's definitely slippery there, it's slick, and again, we keep stressing this. The ice is going to be a problem. This is an example of it. Not really treated very well right now in this area. We're hoping to see possibly some snow plows coming in very soon. But again, if you don't have to be out on the roads, it looks like people are heeding all of this advice. There's not a lot of people out there.
This is exactly what we want to see when we take a look at these traffic
Exactly.
cameras. We don't want to see any cars or trucks on the road unless you absolutely have to be. Now, we were able to check in with the Department of Transportation earlier, and they said that they are working 12-hour shifts in rotation, working tirelessly to go through and continue to treat these roads, to salt these roads. I mean, even when we were coming in this morning for the morning show, I saw a lot of those crews out there continuing to put that salt down.
Yeah, this is the whole thing. If you're going to have to be out, just make sure you have to take your time. Do not be going into right next to another vehicle. If they're slowing down, you slow down, okay? Not having to get to your destination on time. Take your time. People are going to understand that too. If you had to go to work, you have to go to a doctor's appointment, they're going to understand.
Absolutely. And I want to throw this out there as well. Don't be intimidated by another vehicle that's behind you.
Yeah.
If they're trying to rush you or push you on, we don't have time for that.
No.
We are staying safe. So do not be intimidated by any other vehicle that may try to pressure you to speed up. That's not what we're doing. We are taking our time and we are staying safe.
Absolutely. Well, we also do have continuing coverage. We're going to go talking to Columbia now. That's where we have News 19's Shelly Garzone there. I mean, Shelly, we were pretty much out there earlier this morning. The conditions there where you're at, it's still pretty rough. So tell us about it.
Yeah, Christy, Whitney, I'm here on Gardner's Ferry at the Food Lion, and you can see behind me the traffic is kind of still flowing. There are still cars. We've seen what we have seen, as you can see, that City of Columbia police. We've seen a lot of emergency vehicles coming across this road, just kind of getting to places, making sure people are safe out on the roads. But as you can see, there's still traffic moving pretty freely. Gardner's Ferry, like y'all mentioned, was one of the areas that was a little icy this morning. I know, Christy, before I headed out, you and I talked about it. Driving slow into the station this morning, when you were running out this morning around 3 in the morning, when I was running out around 9 in the morning, it was still icy. But the good news is, like you guys mentioned, DOT is on it. A couple of minutes ago, maybe 30 minutes ago, I saw DOT icing Gardner's Ferry, putting down that ice to prevent some of that black ice that you guys had mentioned. And people are out here at Food Lion trying to pick up some last minute groceries, just things to stay warm. The parking lot, you can see some people. It's pretty empty for what Food Lion looks like on a normal day, but people are going inside to make those last-minute grocery trips, trying to pack the essentials to stay warm in case they do lose that power. Things like that can't go bad in the fridge, anything you can need in case that power does go out if you lose it, trying to stay warm. Again, out here on Gardner's Ferry, you can see the traffic is moving, not a lot going on. The ice, we haven't seen much of it forming yet, thankfully, but like you and Christy mentioned, Whitney, that is a concern moving into the late hours of the evening when we get some of that colder, those temperatures dropping. But so far here on Gardner's Ferry, we've seen lots of traffic moving. Everyone's moving pretty safely. I'll toss it back to you guys in the studio.
All right, thank you so much, Shelly. That is good to hear that people are heeding the advice of all of those officials. And we were actually able, speaking of power outages, to talk to Dominion Energy this morning, who says they really haven't had to deal with a lot of power outages.
Yeah, looking right now at poweroutage.us, what we're seeing is about 3,200 people in all of South Carolina are without power this morning, but really even earlier today, we barely saw any. We were able to talk to Matt Long with Dominion Energy, and he said, well, right now, what they're preparing for is the possibility of that black ice, for the slipping and sliding and possibly people hitting into those power poles, and that's where they're going to be losing power. They're also afraid because of how wet it's going to be. Some of the lines are going to freeze over. Some of them are going to get heavy because of all this snow and because of the icicles. So that's what they're kind of afraid right now. But yeah, you're taking a look at poweroutage.us. In our area here in the Midlands, there really isn't a lot of people without power, which is definitely some good news. But again, Matt Long with Dominion Energy saying that at this point, they're now preparing for the cold weather that we're going to expect.
Absolutely. So we're not technically out of the woods yet, but hopefully we were going to continue to see those really low numbers here in the Midlands. And he said, if you have a power outage, one of the best things that you can do is to stay away from any down power lines if you see it, but also to make sure to let your power company know that you are without power, so that way they can get crews out there to fix that situation as soon as possible.
Well, unfortunately, because of the weather and the ice even on the road, some of our reporters were actually affected and unable to make it to our studio this morning. However, they will able to get out on foot and show us what it's looked like around them.
That's right. Our Cassidy Byer sharing what her neighborhood in Earlwood is currently looking like.
Good morning, WLTX friends. Christy, Whitney, I am not in the studio. I actually wasn't able to get to the studio today because these are my roads. Currently walking down them. Actually, before I pressed record, I slipped. And you can kind of tell that it looks like this person right here. Tracks a little slide right there. Sun is coming up. We are hearing some of this snow melt down the sewers over here in my neighborhood. But we're still seeing ice on these roads. I am not driving. I attempted to earlier to get to our station on Garner's Ferry, but I did not get far, guys. I haven't seen many folks out on these roads. Frankly, I've been out here for 20 minutes trying to actually take this look live, and no one's driven by. So as I continue to walk, I'll keep you guys up to date. But as for now, I'm going to be strolling around my neighborhood trying to bring the news to you guys just a little bit differently today. So reporting live from my neighborhood in Earlwood, Cassidy Byer, News 19, WLTX, guys, watch it.
Oh my goodness. I appreciate her for that.
Wow.
But she is showing what folks need to do.
Right.
If you are trying to drive and you realize that you're going to start slipping and sliding, it's time to reverse and head back up the driveway and park your car. I appreciate her putting not only her safety first, but also the safety of others on the road first as well.
Yeah, this is, I mean, the perspective of what everybody is seeing. They're going out, hey, I really got to go to work. Hey, I really have to go to the grocery store. Nope, not with those conditions right out there. Taking a live look at our traffic conditions. I-77 southbound there, a mile marker 10.3. Traffic is picking up in this area, but again, it's moving. And here's the great thing. There's a lot of distance between them and the other cars. But like we've been mentioning, the interstates, those were pretty good out here this morning. They were pretty good. The side streets where Cassidy just was, or maybe right by in your neighborhood, that's where we're seeing a lot of the slush and really what we're going to be seeing possible ice.
That's a completely different story. In Garner's Ferry, I'm so glad to see that things are starting to melt because we had, and just being very transparent, we both were talking about when we were coming into work this morning that we were dealing with some fishtailing because Garner's Ferry was so icy this morning. So I'm so glad to see that that is melting. However, y'all know I love to say that if all of that water does not evaporate, we could be dealing with black ice, which will lead to big headaches for folks who do get on the road tomorrow morning or later tonight because the temperatures are going to be dropping so low. So not only is that something that we're going to be keeping our eye on as well, we're also wanting you guys to know if you are going to be walking, Cassidy made a great point. Please be careful about where you are walking because it is slick and slippery, not just for the cars.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Also going to do a little bit of a tease ahead for tomorrow morning.
Absolutely.
So on News 19 this morning, happening tomorrow, we are going to be joined via phone by AAA with Tiffany Wright with AAA, and she's going to have all of the best advice if you do have to get out there on the roads, especially with the black ice that we could possibly be seeing. We're also going to be hearing from somebody with the Department of Transportation as well.
Yes.
I'm kind of seeing how they're working on the roads and what their process was for that past 24 hours. But again, that is going to start as early as 4:30 tomorrow morning.
Absolutely. We are always on your side, keeping you informed with what's going on. Now, my friends, it doesn't stop right here. You know that you can count on News 19 for everything when it comes to not only your most accurate forecast, but how this weather is impacting us here in the Midlands. You can find that information on WLTX.com, the News 19 app, or you can check us out right here on WLTX Plus, all of our extended weather coverage that's on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, and it is for free. And my friends, again, make sure to stay informed from trusted sources about how this weather continues to play out, because while things are melting, we're technically not out of the woods just yet.
Yeah, we are just making sure that you guys take your time and just be careful out there on the roads. But again, thank you all so much for taking the time to join us here on WLTX Plus. We are here with the most accurate forecast and to get you up to date before you head out the door today.
Yes, have a wonderful day, my friends.
Download WLTX Plus for free on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV.